Good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to Tom's Abu Dhabi Adventure. I am Tom Funk, your host, coming to you today from Dubai. That is right, my current view is of the Maktoum International Airport, where the boy and I holed up for the weekend as we wanted to check out Dubai before we went back to the States. Well, as for last week, well, it was a hot one, and there was only one day that was what I would consider excessively oppressive, and it kept me indoors. Now, I have a regular ride to work every morning, and his name is Andrew, and Andrew is on vacation this week. And I had the grandiose idea on Monday morning to walk to work. I mean, heck, it hasn't been all that bad. Well, I didn't check the dew point, and I'm telling you, it was like walking into a bathroom where the shower had been left on overnight with the hottest water as it's setting. Now, some would say, well, it's like a sauna. Well, I'm here to tell you that was worse than a sauna. I took about 5 steps, and I thought to myself, there was no way I was going to make it to the intersection, let alone the 1-mile walk to work. So I retreated indoors and reached out to a coworker for a ride. And for the rest of the week, I arranged rides as well, although it wasn't as humid the rest of the week. But Monday, I'm telling you, that was something else. Well, how humid has it been? Well, our dew points are typically in the high 70s. So our low temperatures have been in the low to mid 80s, and I'll bet the dew point was in the 80s on Monday morning. Well, that brings us to our trip to Dubai. The weather here, of course, is hot and humid, and more on that in a little bit. Nathaniel has been jonesing to walk around the Burj Khalifa in Dubai since I made him trek around Devil's Tower last summer. So it became a thing with him to go and walk around the Burj. But first, we went to Ski Dubai at the Emirates Mall. Yeah, this is the famous indoor resort with penguins. And as per usual, I want to get to these places early as it is a late crowd here in the United Arab Emirates. This place opens at 9 a.m. and is opened at closes at midnight. So we arrived at 11, and the place was already starting to get busy. But thankfully, we prearranged for our tickets and prepaid for them. We picked them up at a self-serve kiosk, which was very quick and efficient. You see that a lot here. You can buy your stuff ahead of time. You walk up to a kiosk, grab your tickets, and go in. Get to do that with movies as well. So our first stop was a behind-the-scenes penguin encounter and tour. So these penguins aren't out in the ski resort like people tell you they are. No, they're actually behind the scenes. So we were corralled into a meeting room to be, given the rules and what to expect. And my favorite part was when we were told that it is a requirement to wear gloves into the exhibit. And I held up my hands because I wasn't wearing gloves. Because at some point I set them down, and being from Michigan, I figured I didn't need them. So the guide saw that I didn't have gloves and asked where I was from, and I said Michigan, and she cracked a joke that I'd be okay because we were used to it or something to that effect. All the other people laughed, and so whatever she said must have been funny because they all laughed, and this humor she had, whizzed by Nathaniel and I. So she let me in without wearing gloves. Yeah, it was fine. Anyway, we took in the penguin encounter, and we got close-up looks, and we got pictures with them, and we were offered an opportunity to touch a king penguin. This whole thing was very scripted and choreographed, and these penguins are trained with food, and they're very well behaved. So everything went very well. So we saw a king penguin up close and a Gentoo penguin up close and personal. They did not allow us to take photos with our own cameras or cell phones, as they took pictures of us with the penguins and charged us about what it cost to do the tour for a couple of snapshots. These penguins are cute, and I broke down, got one photo, and expect to receive it as part of our Christmas card later this year. So after the tour, we went into the park, and we were both under the impression there would have been more adult things to do in the park, but it was really set up for kids 12 and under. They did have a ski slope, but it only had about a 50-foot drop, and it was mostly used by teenagers. We had to choose between this penguin tour or a ski lesson in order to use the slope, and, well, the choice for me and him was obvious. We chose the penguins. But they did have small hills for sledding, tubing. They had this giant clear inflatable ball you could get into and roll down a snow slope. Plus, they had like a bunch of playground type equipment for the small kids. So it's really set up for smaller children. So if you have small kids and you want to get out of the heat, this place is about 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, it's covered in snow. There's snow everywhere in this thing. And it is below freezing. And the little kids were having a lot of fun in there. And it seemed like a lot of the 12 to 16-year-olds, they were unaccompanied in the place, and I can assume their parents were probably shopping in the mall. These kids were skiing on the slopes. So after skiing Dubai, we headed to the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. It is 829.8 meters tall, or for those of you still not using the metric system, that is 2,722 feet. So it's not only the tallest building in the world, it's also the tallest structure in the world, surpassing this radio tower that is slightly shorter than the building now, and this tower is in Poland. So we had to park at the Dubai Mall and walk to the grounds. With the initial plan of circumnavigating the building, well, two things worked against us. One is that you couldn't circumnavigate on the ground. You'd have to incorporate walking around the block, which included the massive Dubai Mall. Second, it was hotter than blazes, and by the time we reached the grounds, we were both grumpy, hot, and sweaty. So we agreed to come back, in the fall, winter to really admire this architecturally amazing building. The thing is just beautiful. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it online, but to stand, 100 feet from it, looking up, it's really shiny and sparkly. So it's a pretty cool building. We could have went inside, but you have to buy tickets. They start at about $75 each, and the higher you go in the building, the more it costs. So we weren't exactly thrilled about paying all this kind of money to just go up in an elevator. So we made our way back to the mall and cut through a parking lot to the entrance that has all these high-end jewelry stores. Of course, we walked by several Rolls Royces, Bentleys, BMWs, and a slew of Mercedes in the valet parking lot. Normally, I would have taken some pictures, but we just wanted to get inside. So, trust me, you'll see some photos of these cars as I live here in the future. So tomorrow we plan on taking a road trip up to Ras Al Khaimah. I'll tell you about our day going up there next week. And we'll take in Ras Al Khaimah and I think 3 other Emirates too. So the boy and I will have seen 6 of the 7 Emirates by the time we've come back to the United States. That's the plan anyways. Well, I had a really good question of the week. Hey, Tom, I heard there was a 7.0 magnitude earthquake just north of you on the Iranian Gulf shore. Did you feel anything? Actually, I had several people reach out to me. I think the actual magnitude was 6.2, but that's pretty big. 6.0 and up, that's a noticeable earthquake. First I thought it was pretty interesting that people even heard about this earthquake because earthquakes, they are very common in Iran. They have them all the time, daily basis up there. The reason this one was in the news is because, I think it's because there was damage and there were casualties, and it was felt so far away here in Dubai. It was felt. What they're not telling you is that there have been numerous but small quakes in a very small area, which included this 6.2 quake this morning. And these have been going on for several weeks to I think about a month, maybe a little bit more. In the media here, there is speculation that this could be a volcanic earthquakes, not seismic, although there's a lot of plates and stuff in the area. So I found that kind of interesting. That, because, wouldn't that be cool? A volcano forming just north of me where I'm at? Maybe some of you would really come visit me then if you knew there was a volcano nearby. Well, the same person posed a different question too. Tsunamis. I'm not versed enough on tsunamis, but the Gulf that I live on is deeper on the Iranian side and very shallow along the United Arab Emirates side. But the entire Gulf is less than 100 meters in depth, so there isn't much water. But I'm not sure if or how a tsunami would form from an earthquake. So, but I live on the 8th floor of my apartment building, so I think I'll be okay. Hey, bumper music. Thanks again to Adam Main for allowing me to use his music, and I am working on another musician to provide music. So if you're a musician or know someone that is and would like to lend me a song or an album or your whole catalog, reach out to me. Let me know. I'll be happy to share it and tell you about them. So Adam Main is in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and his last name is spelled Main, and he is on Amazon Music. I'm sure he's probably on a few others as well, but I'm listening to him right now on Amazon Music. So next week, I will tell you about our trip to these other Emirates, and I'll also tell you if Nathaniel passed his entrance exam to the Canadian International School, where he'll be going in the fall. Anyways, that is all for the week. If you have a question, feel free to ask on any of my social media outlets. Text me, send me an email, however you want to do that. I thank you for listening. Follow my shenanigans. I always let you know that I am on social media. Facebook, I'm at Tom Funk's Worldly Adventures. Instagram and YouTube is Tom's Worldly Adventures. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn and Goodreads as well as Thomas Funk. And please subscribe to get updates. I am uploading YouTube videos, and check out my YouTube channel as well. I'm also posting this podcast as a YouTube video, which makes it a lot easier for folks to listen to the podcast. They don't have to subscribe to anything. It just shows up as a YouTube video. It's kind of cool. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Stay cool, and we'll be in touch with you guys next week.